What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. Today, I'm going to be talking to my man. Because you know what, fellas? I got a lot to say. But before I get started, before I get in this kitchen and get cooking, you already know that's what I do on this channel. That's what it is. That's what it's always going to be. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. Because I do it for you guys. I want people to win. It's the whole point of this channel. Progress, perspective. So anyway, what I want to talk about today, it's a loaded conversation. What I see in the modern day society, on top of the dating being effed up, on top of communication being messed up, on top of lack of manners, on top of lack of awareness, on top of people being insecure and, overly emotional and lacking confidence and so many array of characteristics. I believe that the symptoms we're seeing, those are symptoms, is directly connected to the fact that most men nowadays do not know who the heck they are. Now, why? Why is this something that I wanted to talk about? Why is it something that I believe needed to be addressed? Well, men, I believe that a lot of fellas are under the same type of social programming that the women are. Let me explain. The media engines, the outlets, the movies, the music, the agenda, it is not just for women's consumption. It is also for men's consumption. And a part of that consumption, in my opinion, is to get people to now be susceptible to a perspective that is not something based in reality. Now, I'm saying a lot. I'm trying to keep it simple. But mainly, men have stopped being men. And what does being a man look like? Because it can be subjective. I know a lot of people could say that. It could be subjective. But the one core thing about men as a whole, regardless on profession, regardless on interest and talent, regardless on, family upbringing or culture, men know who they are. They know what they stand for. They know what their standards are. Men are decisive beings. Men are people who work towards a goal, set goals, work towards completing those goals, pushing themselves, constantly seeking things to accomplish and complete. That's how men are. They live by a standard, gentlemen. They live by a code, an ecosystem that is driven out of the purpose of creating. Because what every man wants when he leaves this earth is the ability to leave a legacy, and a positive one at that. Now, one of the problems is that a lot of guys are, again, under, like I said, the media engine. They're being programmed that your manhood is predicated on what you drive, where you live, what you wear, what kind of girls you're banging, what you drink, all things that have nothing to do with being a man. Before all of what you see now existed, before there was automobiles, before there was even at a point construction, before there was manors and mansions and vacation homes, gentlemen, do you know what men had to do? Men had to find a skill set, be given a skill set, perfect that skill set, and become proficient in that skill set in order for the very survival of them and their family, as well as their village and their community. And what they did is they did that, and there was pride behind being a fisherman. There was pride behind being a hunter. There was pride behind being a chief. There was pride behind being, a teacher, or whatever your facility, your auxiliary was within the community. And one of the things that I believe has changed so much because of the way our society has progressed is that because things are so convenient, men are now allowed to live in an environment that, yes, we created, but it benefits the women as much as it benefits the men. And it allows men to not have to tap into and stay connected to that inner source of confidence, that inner source of drive, that inner source of ambition, that inner source of strength, gentlemen. One of the main things I've heard women talk about and complain about over the years and all the conversations I've had, and I've had conversations with thousands and thousands of different women, because I've always been curious about human behavior in the perspective of women mostly. But one thing I found that was very consistent with most of their complaints about the men that they were interacting with was the fact that the men were not solid. They weren't who they portrayed to be. They weren't whole. They weren't showing the women a solid person, which in turn, gentlemen, if you're a solid person as a man, this should counteract her irrational behavior, irrational thinking, immaturity, so on and so forth. But I'll go into that further later. Men need to understand that we have a desired function that is our intellect, our logic, our perspective, our outlook, our abilities. When you as a man decide to abandon that responsibility, you leave your post unmanned. And by leaving your post, I'm not saying like by leaving your family and leaving your baby or things like that. That may be a part of it. What I'm talking about is that what the work you're not willing to do, someone like me has to come along and do it. Because now we have a world consistent of not only women that are delusional, but we have a world that's also consistent of men that are delusional. Fellas, one of the things that hold a lot of men back is the fact that they still seem to think that an interaction of a sexual nature with a woman is the highest accomplishment a man could have. I'm here to tell you that that actually, in my opinion, is the lowest amount of vibration for a man's accomplishment. And I'm going to explain it to you because I could already tell that some of you guys are not understanding or following where I'm coming from. Gentlemen, when you are on this journey of development, when you are on this journey of being the absolute best version of yourself, the completeness that is you, you are only going to be you for the rest of your life. You are who you are, what God gave you, are what you were born with. So you might as well get comfortable and you might as well be the best you can be, right? What does that consist of? That consists of a vision. That consists of character. That consists of ambition, diligence, discipline, work ethic. But one of the things that always puzzles me is that when you talk to some men, their claim to fame is getting between some girl's legs, having sex, and that's it. And I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, that once you get to this level and you start to understand and see yourself in the proper perspective, you will begin to understand that things like sex with a woman is a part of the all-inclusive package that is your life that you built. Now, why am I speaking to this point? I'm speaking to this point because there's so many men that are distracted to think that you're supposed to be focused on doing things for the betterment of the amount of sexual access you can have. I'm here to tell you that that right there, gentlemen, is low level and it's nonsense. And if that's your mindset, then you might as well stop now. Because That's not why you should be pursuing the journey of manhood and being the best version of yourself, being a whole you. The reason why you should be pursuing it is because once you align with self, gentlemen, you become what I consider to be a life magnet. And as a life magnet, you will start to draw all of the elements that come with being the life magnet that you are. Opportunities, friendships, interactions, romance, treatment. These things will come because why? You have now positioned yourself to attract all that is good in the world, all that is solid in the world, from what you have placed focus, discipline, and importance on. See, it is almost impossible to be a man that is aligned with oneself, and that alignment doesn't produce an environment that is productive, competitive, progressive, and then that lifestyle not affect other people around you. They used to have this saying in church, this little light of mine, it was a song, I'm gonna let it shine, right? That reference point is very vital in the point I'm trying to make now. As a man, when you align yourself correctly, you actually turn on the light. You actually turn on what I call I don't call it, it came off a movie, but you turn on the glow, right? There was a movie back in the 80s with Bruce Leroy. I forget the name of it, something with the dragon. Forgive me for the title. I know I'm jacking it up and it's early right now. But anyway, those who watch the movie, they know what I'm talking about. I'll put a link to the description put a link in the description so you can check it out on YouTube or whatever. But anyway, the main character, Bruce Leroy, when he completed his journey of Kung Fu, he got the glow. And with the glow, it wasn't that he was just more powerful. It was the fact that he had actually showcased in the glow that he went through the necessary steps of knowledge, wisdom, time, discipline. The glow was just an actual manifestation of his work. And that's what I wanted to touch on for the next few minutes that I, have your attention. A lot of guys try to make manhood everything that's outside instead of everything that's inside. Like I mentioned when I started this broadcast, the car you drive, the title you have, the money you have, the house you live in, those are not telltale signs of the type of man you are from the places that matter. There's a bunch of idiots that own homes. There's a bunch of terrible people that own cars. There's a bunch of trash people that have money. But as a man, and a man that is looking to have good moral fiber and be able to leave a lasting imprint and impression on the world, this man needs to follow a regimen of development and growth in order to eventually align with his glow. And when he glows the heck up, from that point in his life, he will now be the best version of himself, the best resource, the best tool, the best teacher, the best student, the best father, the best man, the best husband, the best friend. He will be complete. So much so that other men will look at self and wonder why they don't have this same glow. They will try to figure out, well, what did I miss? Or what did you do? Or how come you're glowing and I'm not? It is necessary, gentlemen, for you to understand how important it is for us as men to be our full, complete self. Because the very world that you live in is dependent on us being our best self. And while I still have you for a few minutes, because I know y'all favorite topic is women, if you believe as a man that the interaction between you and a woman sexually is, again, the top of the food chain of acquisition and inquiring and measuring of importance to yourself, my guy, you have a long road ahead of you. A man in his complete state understands that sexual interaction with a woman is bleak and nowhere near as important as the very impact that he was put on this earth to leave. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I believe a lot of what we're seeing, especially in the attitude and the demeanor of our women, is because men have left their posts. Men have given up their position and they have taken an easier route, a cushier route, and now are not so concerned with being the very soldiers that they were created to be, the very warriors that you were created to be, the very powerful beings that you were created to be. I encourage you, gentlemen, to stand on your posts. This is Daniel Rucker with Truth Table, signing out. Till next time.